20 years old, was a quiet but responsible young man. Since losing their parents in a car accident, he had become both a brother and a guardian to his 10-year-old sister, Elif. They had moved into an old house outside the town, by the edge of the forest, left behind by their grandmother. Onur felt uneasy in this house, but Elif seemed happy. Still, sometimes she would say strange things. "Brother, someone talks to me at night." Onur thought it was just his sister's imagination. However, the echoing footsteps in the house at night, the doors that opened on their own, and the cold winds started to unsettle him. One night, he woke to noises coming from Elif's room. She wasn't in her bed. He searched the entire house but couldn't find her. Panicking, he opened the door and found her standing motionless at the edge of the forest. Her eyes were vacant, and cold wind blew her hair. "Onur, brother, they're calling me." He heard whispers from the depths of the forest, unintelligible words, as if thousands of people were speaking at once. Onur quickly pulled Elif inside, locking the door behind him, but through the darkness, a pair of eyes stared back at him. This was no ordinary house. That night, Onur couldn't sleep. But Elif acted as if nothing had happened, as if she had forgotten about her midnight walk in the forest. During breakfast, Onur noticed an old mirror on the table. It was an antique that had belonged to their grandmother. As Onur looked closely, he saw a shadow moving inside the mirror. He rubbed his eyes. Maybe it was from exhaustion. At that moment, Elif whispered, "Brother, there's someone there." Onur flinched. Elif's finger was pointing at the mirror. Onur looked again, and his eyes widened. Behind his own reflection, there was a pale-faced woman. Her eyes were hollow, and her mouth was a dark void. The woman slowly tilted her head, and her mouth moved. But no sound came out. Panicked, Onur flipped the mirror face down and picked up Elif, carrying her to her room. From that day on, he covered every mirror in the house. But the whispers didn't stop. And at night, the scratching sounds from behind the door grew louder. That night, Elif began talking in her sleep. "They're waiting behind the door. Don't turn off the lights." Onur tried to wake her up, but although her eyes were open, she didn't respond. Suddenly, a shadow passed by the window. Was it a person or something else? Onur grabbed a flashlight and went outside. Someone was in the forest. The moonlight revealed shadows moving between the trees. The sound of dry branches breaking proved that someone was there, but no one could be seen. Just as he was about to turn back, he heard a child's laugh. It was Elif's voice, but Elif was inside, wasn't she? When Onur looked behind him, a pair of pale eyes stared back at him. Screaming, he ran inside and locked the door. His heart raced wildly. That night, he didn't leave Elif's side. The next morning, he found a sentence written in the mud in front of the door. "You forgot us." Elif was changing. She used to be a cheerful child, but now she was always whispering to herself. At night, she would talk in her sleep, walking around the room with her eyes closed. One night, Onur woke up to find Elif's bed empty. He panicked and found her standing in the living room, in front of the old grandmother's mirror. The mirror was shattered, but a handprint was clearly visible on it, a black bony hand. Elif turned around. Her eyes weren't normal. They were pitch black. "Abi, she's coming." At that moment, another hand reached out from the mirror. Onur found his grandmother's old diary. As he turned the pages, his skin crawled. The last words his grandmother had written were, "The ones from the forest have returned. The portal in the mirror has opened again. If someone is reading this, run before it's too late." Onur quickly woke up Elif and tried to leave the house, but the doors wouldn't open. The curtains closed by themselves, and the lights flickered. The sound of footsteps came from the ceiling. Someone, or something, was coming down. As Onur and Elif tried to escape, The door suddenly slammed open. The inside of the house turned icy cold. A creature with pitch-black eyes entered, and Elif began to walk toward it. Onur made a final move, pulling Elif back. The shadow creature hissed as it got closer, shaking the house. Onur remembered the last line from his grandmother's diary. "Break the mirror, silence the whispers." Onur grabbed the last mirror and threw it at the creature. With the shattering of the mirror, a deafening scream filled the air. The creature dissolved into a thin mist. Elif collapsed to the ground. The house suddenly became silent. Onur picked up Elif and carried her outside. The sun was rising. All that was left behind was the shattered house and the whispers fading away in the mist. But Onur still felt that something was watching them. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications.